Hey, how you doing? My name is Diction. I'm a Christian on a mission, and it's with conviction. I stating the claim that the savior of our race, Jesus is his name and his game is grace.
This video was brought to you today by
crippling depression.
This video was brought to you today by the letter E and the number 15. Those moves are as dead as I am on the left side!
Meanwhile...
Why is it taking you so long to record the live action parts? No one will see it now! You know why! Why? Anxiety and depression. Alright. Hey, can I ask you something? Sure! What are you doing in my swamp? Get out! Baldie's Basics in Education and Learning may seem like just another slender clone with a 90s edutainment aesthetic, but I like to overanalyze things and think there's a deeper meaning to them, which is something my psychologist said I should avoid. But I'ma do it anyway! Diction does not condone ignoring the advice of your psychologist, as he has learned from personal experience. Boy, do I feel like some overthinking. Can I join in? Ah! First, interpretation. My first interpretation of the game is the most straightforward, a commentary on the past practice of hitting students with rulers for wrong answers. In this interpretation, each classroom represents each year of education, and each notebook represents the work they are required to complete. This is supported by the game's linear path, which requires the player, i.e. student, to complete the notebooks available before they can move on to the next one, similar to school. The unanswerable problems represent how it's unavoidable for a student to get at least some questions wrong over the entirety of their school career. Thus, hitting them for this is a pointless power trip which doesn't help the student learn. Also, Baldie smacks a ruler in his hand. Next, interpretation. This one's the least straightforward. A commentary on education systems that spoon-feed students and fail to prepare them for the real world. This isn't having a go at teachers, but on the education systems that spoon-feed. Teaching is among some of the most stressful jobs, yet doesn't get nearly as much respect or pay as some of the other jobs do. So there's some food for thought. What was that? This interpretation begins in the game's introductory text, where it's stated that your friend can't get his notebooks hold on. Notes. Why? Himself, since it would make him late for eating propaganda. Seriously, stop! I interpret the eating line to mean that within the game's world, it's deemed necessary to teach children a class on how to eat. The first notebook is mind-numbingly easy, and the player, i.e. future graduate, is giving condescending, over-the-top encouragement for completing it. Wow, I can't believe it. You're incredible. Okay.
I want to die.
Topped off with, wow, you exist. Wow. You exist! Yes! And unfortunately, so do you! The first in-game classroom and notebook represent the real-world classroom, with Baldie representing the system of condescending encouragement and an out-of-date curriculum. It might be a bit of a stretch, but you can interpret the 90s edutainment aesthetic to represent the out-of-date curriculum. The second classroom and notebook onwards represent the real world and its challenges. While what was learned in school has its application, there are problems that come as a rude shock to the player, i.e. school graduate, who was unable to solve them. When writing that, I just had Jared from Wisecrack in my head.
Hey Wisecrack!
Baldie post wrong answer form.
This isn't even my final form.
Represents the real world consequences of not being able to solve real world problems, which pile up and catch up to the graduate.
Offside!
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus. Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend.
You're just copying PewDiePie and Jimmy! That's so unoriginal!
There's nothing new in this world. Everything just gets repeated. We don't remember what people did in the past. And no one remember what we did now. Ecclesiastes 1:9. Next, interpretation. My next interpretation sees Baldie as representing teachers and their struggle to keep students in line, which hinders their ability to teach. Baldie's description in the principal's office reads as follows. Great teacher due to his incredible hearing abilities. He can not only tell where any sound came from, but who made it too.
Did anyone else notice that his description as a teacher focuses solely on his ability to get students in line? And not on his ability to teach?
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
You're welcome!
Please leave. Adding to this is how Baldie stands idle instead of actively guiding the player until you get something wrong. Go into the classroom, idle. Complete first notes, idle. Get something wrong, he can be your idol or your demon. That was the joke. Research shows that children are more antisocial and misbehave inside many of the mainstream school environments than outside of them. And I consider that the more teachers' roles become about keeping students in line, in systems that unintentionally make children more misbehaved, the less they're able to teach. Baldie's pursuit of the player represents how teachers are forced to fail students who in a more effective system could have stayed out of trouble, learned the material, and earned better marks. You can also fit the multiplication thing into this interpretation as representing how teachers struggle to teach their students the skills and knowledge they need for tests. With the unreadable nature of the question and the fuzzy noise, you get the point. Last interpretation. The self-esteem movement is based on a misinterpretation of the correlation between achievement and self-esteem among children. By structuring activities so that everyone wins, this movement seeks to increase children's self-esteem in early years so they'll be more secure in themselves and achieve more in later years. However, shielding children from challenge and frustration when they're young makes them less likely to achieve when they're older since they haven't learned how to deal with them. In this interpretation, the first classroom and notebook represent the early childhood years where the structures of the self-esteem movement are in place, hence the questions are easy and the player, i.e. child, is given condescending over-the-top encouragement for completing such mundane tasks. And the second classroom and notebook onwards represent later years where the self-esteem movement structures aren't in place and the child is unable to deal with real challenge. This makes Baldie's pursuit of the player represent, the reality of life, maybe? Why have I spent so much time interpreting this stupid video game?
Because you like overanalyzing stuff!
Go away.
But I don't want to!
Die!
Okay.
He'll be back. Now, is there time for bonus interpretation? Bonus interpretation! This one's actually kind of sad. I interpret playtime as representing children who, due to having impairments, find it hard to keep up with and are left out by other children. This is based on Playtime's description where it's mentioned that she is always keen to play despite her poor eyesight. Given that running into playtime forces the player to jump rope, slowing them down and possibly causing a game over, players will naturally try to avoid her and find her very annoying. And much like most children in real life, will only play with her when they are forced to. But hey, that's just an interpretation. A bonus interpretation! Oh, what happened, Game Theory? Used to be good. Remember to smash like, to comment and subscribe, because doing all those together is one thing equals one hug for playtime. Rest in pepperoni, sweet princess. Yeah. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I love you, God loves you, and God bless. Alright, so it's a little weird, but it's not, objectively bad. Coming through. And I hate it. This movement seeks to increase children's self-esteem in early years. Now, wow.